Hey guys, hey, what's up? How's it going? Anyway, I'm Steve. I'm the guy you subscribe to. I'm the guy that made a few cartoons and left you dry for a bit. I'm working on them. I am working on cartoons. I guarantee that. But I just wanted to do this podcast to kind of fill in the gaps, and see if you guys enjoy it. Keep doing it. But that's basically it. I'm Steve. I just draw and I like to try and make funny shit. So hope you like it.
Hi, everybody. My name's Ernie. I'm a graphic designer by trade, but I do illustrations and concept art on the side as freelance. My schooling background was I went to Cal State University Fullerton, and I got a degree in art and entertainment. And first job out of college was at a company called G4, Video Game Television. I'm sure a lot of you know that place. I was there for a number of years until I landed a job at a PC gaming company, which is kind of where I spend my time right now.
So there you go. Let's start the podcast. We used to both work at a company together. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
G4.
Yeah, G4. I remember that.
It used to be a channel on TV. And, well, shit happens, and it's no longer a channel, and we don't work there anymore.
No, we don't work there anymore, but, it's not there anymore except for a very, very skeleton website that I think got bought out by some weird free MMO company. So if you actually go to g4tv.com, it's still there, but
oh really?
Yeah, it's still it still has articles
it's
up
riddled
on it,
with ads though.
But it's it just has weird ads to it. It's just a weird site.
All right, cool. Well, if you want to see that, by all means,
go
to that website. But anyway, yeah. So we're both artists, and we just thought, why not just shoot the shit and talk about I don't know. Whatever anyone wants to hear, we'll take suggestions or questions or whatever from the audience. This is the first one, so we don't have anything yet. But
yeah, it's kind of we'll just start talking and we'll see what comes up, and then by the time we get some little feedback or something, we can try to see.
Yeah, this is more of just the introduction to what we're like.
Right.
And I guess something that's interesting about me is people say a lot of things that I like are considered trash. Like the 90s Zelda cartoon.
But that is trash.
Well, it's not. Wait, what is it? It's not 90s, right? Is it
it's 80s.
80s?
It's 80s Zelda.
I love that cartoon.
That says "Excuse me."
Yeah, I really like that cartoon.
And his dagger he uses like a gun.
Yeah.
And
I think it's great. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but great do you mean great in a way that, oh wow, this is so terrible, it's amazing that this is actually was shot, or I should say it was storyboarded, somebody thought this would be hilarious and they actually drew it out, and it's like, wow, that's great in that way, or actually great and entertaining?
Both. In terms of entertainment and in terms of how the hell did this get made. Yeah, I like it in both regards.
I see that Zelda cartoon the same way I see the Street Fighter cartoon.
Oh, that one's way worse.
Okay,
though.
well, yes, but they see it's the whole Americanization of something that was supposed to be a one way, and then they said, well, the kids like it when they have catchphrases, so we gotta have Link have a catchphrase.
Yeah, and I bought into it. I love it, and I'm American, so. There you go.
Well, one man's trash is another man's treasure, I guess. But
yeah, I guess that describes everything. Everything I like. So,
I mean, did you watch it back in the day, or did you catch it on, when the resurgence of nostalgia came back?
I actually, I remember I saw it somewhere, and it was like $3. It was one DVD, and it was the whole series. And I said, "What the hell is this? I want to watch this. This looks pretty cool." And there you go. That's it.
I can guess where you bought that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I got it on Amazon, actually. It was really cheap. You know, it's really.
I wonder why it was really cheap.
You know what's weird too is that there's one set that says the complete series, and it's like $40, and then there's another one that says the complete first season, and I think there was only one season.
I think so.
So it's like way cheaper. So I don't know if that's some kind of weird scam.
I don't know. Sometimes they screw things up. Like the Futurama DVDs are the same way.
Mm-hmm.
They do seasons. There's seasonal DVDs, and then there's volumes. And I don't know why they're split up like that, but it's the same thing.
Are they actually? Okay.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. But anyway, so that's one thing is you like old horrible cartoons.
I like that Hercules show, the one that was on during that one was on during the 90s. It was 94.
Okay, so but this one I admit that I used to watch pretty religiously. At least like
I like that show.
I mean, I liked it because for one thing, after the Saturday morning cartoons were over,
mm-hmm.
and after I watched like 2 or 3 infomercials, that would come on in the afternoon, and that it was like the only cool thing on. So of course I watched it, and I thought that was really really cool. I mean, it didn't. It's weird because I don't like that kind of stuff now.
Right.
Like people who like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones now or anything like that. I don't like those shows now.
I don't know if it's that fantasy though, because there's a lot of silliness in that show. There's a lot of weird shenanigans that they do in that show.
But it doesn't like the first few episodes. There's a little bit of humor, but it's not nobody's slipping on banana peels and there's no wacky noises.
There is later though, because they do run out of ideas. Like season 4 they get pretty crazy, and the special effects don't really get any better throughout the show. But I like it. I don't know.
It's like I'll admit it's a very well put together show, and it's very entertaining. It just kind of starts to run out of steam, like right around the time when it gets a little meta, and they start. They do that. We were talking about the other day that episode where they come out of the TV show and they're talking about like the writers.
Yeah, it's like the writers are playing.
Yeah, the writers
played by the cast of the show.
Exactly,
and it's like this weird thing where
it gets a little meta.
Hercules is actually Hercules in real life, or like Kevin Sorbo is supposed to be Hercules in real life, and somehow he's still alive, and nobody knows it, and he has to keep it a secret, like he's Superman or something. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And remember that other show, Xena. Some of those characters start to leak into Hercules because
the crossover.
Yeah. It's one of those things that like spin-offs don't usually take off. There's very few spin-offs that actually have taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Like Family Matters and it was Family Matters, it was Frasier. Those are kind of the big famous ones.
Yeah.
But this one was like Xena was the offshoot of Hercules.
Right.
And Gabrielle's in one of those episodes where they do the you're the writers.
Yeah.
I like that, yeah. So those, and by the way, Xena, yes, I also like that one, but I ended up liking Xena more than I liked Hercules.
That's a good show too.
I think it had less goofiness in it.
Sam Raimi produced it too, or what is he's a producer, executive producer or something like that?
Which would make sense because Bruce Campbell's in it.
Yeah, Sam Raimi, if anyone doesn't know, he did Spider-Man. And what he did, Evil Dead, right?
Evil Dead, which is
what
made
both
Bruce
those
Campbell,
films have Bruce Campbell in them, and
yep.
So it makes sense. You just what is that called?
The
Kevin Bacon game.
Like I don't know if it's a curse or whatever, but directors who like their people always hire their little crew back together.
Yeah, you hire your friends. That's how it works.
I mean, Kevin Smith's been doing it for years at this point, right?
And then Sam Raimi's brother is in Xena.
He's Jockster.
I think his name is Ben Raimi. He plays like a goofy guy, like a goofy, weird guy.
That guy's awesome. He has like trash armor. He literally has trash armor that he put together.
Yeah, he's like complete comic relief because he's always being shot or something.
Yeah, and like he's blatantly comic. He's like, hey, bro, let me get on your show. I'll be like this wacky neighbor kind of dude. And I was like, okay, that's fine.
What a good brother that guy is.
Right? He's a good brother.
Because sometimes he's in the show for a good amount of time. So
listen, bro, I need a little help. I couldn't make the rent last week.
Yeah.
But I got this idea. You're gonna really like it.
And the sets are really cool, man. It's New Zealand, so I mean.
Well, that's kind of where they shoot everything.
If you like looking at that shit. It's really nice to look at.
Yeah, like.
But what I was gonna say earlier was that I just kind of like that show. you could really tell that they had to get an episode out like almost every week. Because sometimes they use like allusions to real life, or they use like stories that you've heard before, and they try to. I don't know if it's intentional, but like there seems to be like a moral to almost every one of those episodes. Kind of like Star Trek, how they try to give you some sense of.
Well, definitely the early episodes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, at least until season 3, they had a lot of the gods reflect. One of the sins of man. Like one of them was greedy, and then Hercules is the embodiment of what is it, being unfaithful, all that kind of stuff. So every time Hercules ran into one of the gods, it would be like, oh, they're the god of so and so, and there was a bad side to it, and that's kind of what led the episode, right?
Sure.
Which is why I was like, oh, these are good, because some of the stories I already knew. Like they do the episode of Persephone, about the changing seasons and all that kind of stuff. And,
oh yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that they stay true to some things.
Yeah, because if you remember the Disney Hercules.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too. They call him Hercules, and I think it's Heracles in Greek, and in Roman it's Hercules, but Disney made it, or something like that. They use Hercules because it sounds better or something.
Sure, but then they switch the names so that they sound better. Like for what is it?
What I'm saying is they use Hercules, which is the other one. It's supposed to be Heracles, but all the other ones are the same. So it's like it's just weird.
No, yeah, I get that. It's just in the Disney one, they also had the
they did the same thing.
Who's his mom? His mom
Hera.
is Hera. Yeah, in the Disney one, she's like, "Oh, Hercules, my boy," and in the series, which is more true to the
she's like an evil bitch.
Well, she tries to kill him.
She kills his family. She kills all of his kids and his wife in the first episode. Spoilers. And
spoilers to anybody who hasn't seen it since the 90s.
Well,
and you can't catch any more on Netflix apparently.
They took it off from Netflix. I don't really understand that, but
I don't know. It was really, I'm sure Kevin Sorbo could use the check. So I
well,
don't know why they did that.
Well, since they're not gonna be able to watch, I can just tell you that Iolaus dies like 5 times during that whole series, which is his best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? That guy directed some of the later episodes.
Oh, so he's pulling like a whole director thing?
Yeah, he was...
It's not bad.
He was always part of the show, even when he wasn't on camera,
That's kind of nice. I always like the... I mean, they mirrored the entire thing on Xena, which was nice, because, like, at first Hercules was running around by himself, then he got Iolaus.
Man, I really like Xena.
But in Xena, she meets I forget what Gabrielle was before, because I haven't seen Xena in a long time, but since I watched Hercules first, that one's stuck in my head a lot more. I forget the original way that Gabrielle meets Xena.
She's in Xena goes to her village, and Gabrielle wants to go with her. And
That's just it?
Yeah, and Xena's just like, no, you're dumb. I don't want you here.
But I got this staff.
But she insists, and then, at the end, she takes her with her. Which is cool, because they become, like, best friends, and, amongst all of the silliness, they do have a pretty organic and real relationship on that show. Like, it's very believable, and which is pretty cool. I watched that show when I was little, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Xena more than Hercules, though.
And for some reason, back when I was a kid, it wasn't weird to have, like, a strong female, like, leading a show like that. And for some reason, nowadays, people say, like, that's really absent in everything. Like, I mean, now there's kind of, like, an abundance of it. You have, like, Resident Evil and Underworld coming out with... And Star Wars and... I don't know, other shit.
Well,
Rogue One.
First of all, Resident Evil is real stupid. And I'm obviously talking about the movies, but you're right. Between, like, Xena and anything else, I can't really name a strong female lead in an action movie that kind of filled that gap.
Her love interest is a black guy. It's like it was so ahead of its time, but, like, I don't know. It's like all this shit people complain about today, like, oh, they don't take any risk, and it's like this show was doing it back in the 90s, and it was just like this thing like that everyone thought was normal, and nobody thought anything of it. It was just this, I don't know, they did a lot of stuff.
Well, yeah, because she was originally the series starts out where she's she has a remembrance of her being a war queen, right? Where she's been like conquering lands.
Well, she was like that before she met Hercules, and then Hercules was like,
"Stop it!
You gotta stop." Yeah, he's like, "There's good people in this world. You shouldn't want to kill everyone." And I mean, you know, when you binge watch something, it kind of just all gets...
It blurs together.
Yeah. So I don't really remember what exactly he does, but there's a bunch of episodes where she's evil until they spin her off and she becomes a good guy.
And then I remember very, very, very precisely in my head, the second time they meet, they get busy. I remember that very precisely. I don't know why.
Probably do the first time too.
No, not the first. I remember very clearly. It was the second time when she returns.
Because the first time is she goes out with Iolaus. Mm-hmm. She seduces Iolaus, and then she does the classic Hercules just doesn't think you're strong enough. So
she turns him against him.
Yeah, and then Iolaus is like, he's like, you're wrong, Hercules. She's good. She's a good person.
Oh yeah, Iolaus, where were you last night?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where I was last night. I'm just telling you, she's good. I just know. I did an ocular pat down, and I was able to assess that she's good.
I didn't get to finish that show though, so they took it off of Netflix this January, and I didn't get to finish it. I don't even remember why I was, but
had she gone to China yet?
No.
Because there's a point. This is where I stopped watching. This is like she goes to China. Right? And this might be equivalent to when Hercules meets the druids and he starts running super fast.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So...
Those are cool. He goes into, like, Norse territory. Hey, at least they did something different.
No, I'm not... Look it.
And he dresses differently.
I told you I like the show. Like, I'm not with you with the Adventures of Zelda or whatever, the cartoon. I'm not with you on that one. But I'm with you here. I understand it was goofy. Sam Raimi always had kind of a goofy nature to him. Mm-hmm. If you've watched Evil Dead, it makes total sense.
I've never watched that movie.
Well, I think you should watch it just to understand where the director, like what his, kind of his sense of humor is, and you'll see. Oh, I get it now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I like Bruce Campbell. He's cheesy, but he's funny.
Xena starts throwing Hadoukens. Hadoukens, and the whole thing is about chi. I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese. I forget which one it is.
I'm glad I stopped watching.
But she starts to throw she does like this weird swirly thing, and then she's able to throw chi at people, and she's like breaking that's how she uses to get out of this prison and everything. And she's like, and then later on, there's a couple episodes that's great. Later on, Gabrielle's like, why don't you use your chi to break through this? And she's like, you know what? I lost it. That's the only excuse they have for that. It's like, I was able to do those Hadoukens, and then all of a sudden, I can't do it anymore. They just kind of wave it off.
That's pretty dumb.
I know, but what are you gonna do, man? You can't give her superpowers because they don't got the budget for that.
She's pretty strong though. Like there's times where she kicks people or something, and they go flying, and I'm kind of like, alright, so she's human.
Yeah, but she's probably practiced that kick a million times.
Okay, whatever. And the way she throws her,
I forget what it's called too. The circle thing, right?
Yeah, starts with what's the ch.
Yeah, something like that. Everybody knows what it is. It's that little
circle sharp thing that she throws that bounces off all the walls,
and she can catch it without cutting her hand.
Yeah, and then sometimes when she wants it to cut people's faces, it does.
It does.
But if she doesn't, if she's not feeling it that day, she can throw it different, and it just smacks them.
Yeah, I mean, she's good at that thing, man. It became like her little signature. It became like a unique thing. Like if you've ever watched a bunch of old ass eating movies. There's an old one called Krull, and it had something similar where it was like a throwy thing, but it had knives coming out of it. And it's the same thing. You throw it, and it was like this weapon of destiny. It's really dumb.
Okay.
But it's hers was actually really functional because of the way she threw it.
Yeah.
And it was circular. I remember there's an episode where it's like Groundhog Day. She keeps reliving it.
Okay.
But things happen in this town, and she's trapped in this town, and then she's figuring it out, and she's like, maybe it's I have to right all the wrongs that are happening in the day. So it's really funny because if she doesn't do anything, this whole massacre breaks out in the middle of the town, And like the way that she solves all the problems, and she spends one day not doing any of the good that she has to do, and just measuring all the angles that she has to throw her thing at.
Oh, really?
And that's how she solves all the problems. Is she gives one mighty throw, and it like solves all the problems in the entire town.
Wow, there you go.
You didn't watch that one?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's a great episode. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a really good one. Because I don't know if it was a '90s thing, but every like major '90s every '90s sitcom show or whatever had something similar. Like even on the X-Files, they had an episode called Monday, where both Mulder and Scully.
Oh, where the same shit happens.
The same shit happens, and they have to. The main dude Mulder's the only one that can remember the day before, so he spends the whole time trying to like stop it.
There's weird episodes of Xena where like Lucy Lawless plays like 3 different characters, and they're just like, oh, this peasant girl looks exactly like Xena, and Xena looks exactly like the Queen, and I'm just kind of like, whatever. I'm in like season 3. I'm just gonna keep watching, like, and not ask questions because.
You know why those series are so hard to get through? It's because they're hour long, and how many episodes are in a season?
There's like 23 episodes per season. It's a lot of.
It's a lot.
That's what I mean by like I understand them running out of ideas or like them making allusions to real life and stuff like that because it's like, the hell else are they gonna do? They have to get a new episode out every week, hour long.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think of a show like The Office. Their first season is like 6 episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then they grew pretty exponentially.
Oh,
Now I think it's pretty standard for a show to have 12. But back in the day, I remember like a season would have.
I think Always Sunny only has like 10.
Something like
10
that,
per
right?
season or something like that.
And that's considered a lot, which I find ludicrous. Because back in the day, we were getting new cartoons every week.
I mean, it's different for things like sitcoms. Sitcoms still have like 25 episodes per season.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I guess so. I guess.
Doesn't Friends have like 25 episodes per season?
Yeah, but
that's a lot of episodes.
Friends was in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And early 2000s. I think it ended, 2003? Something like that?
I know those Marvel shows only have like 12 episodes per season, so...
Which ones? The ones now or the cartoons from back in the 90s?
No, the ones now. The ones on Netflix right now only have like 12 episodes per season.
Yeah, but there's a big budget. Like, I don't know. I guess thinking about Hercules and Xena, you're flying the whole cast out there to shoot. I guess you want to bank as many episodes as you possibly can.
You're going to get your money's worth for that plane ticket.
That plane ticket to New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, I might be looking at the whole 90s era with nostalgic glasses or whatever, but I liked sitcoms. And I like TV shows from that era, but I don't know. I definitely feel like there's a lot of cheesiness there.
I was gonna say I think Family Matters is something else that first of all I really like that show, and that's another thing that people might consider just trash or not good.
Well, considering it had Steve Urkel in it was like the epitome of what the 90s was. It's just like this wacky character and then this regular family. It was always that. You can name a lot of different sitcoms, and you always have, and then they had a wacky neighbor, or an idiot, or this or that.
But this one is like the wacky neighbor took over the whole show.
Yeah.
He became God on that set.
Okay.
Nothing
happened without Urkel involved.
Yeah, everything was Steve Urkel approved.
You know what's funny is when I was a kid, I caught that show, but when I caught it, I must have caught it in reruns, because the show was always with Urkel. There was never no Urkel. And then I think you're the one that showed me the first few episodes, or at least the first season.
Oh yeah, they don't have him or something.
They don't have Urkel. And it was supposed to be almost like Full House, where the whole thing was about the kids and the family living in, I think they're in Chicago.
I don't remember actually.
But, and he's a cop and blah, 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 and that's like the big deal.
Yeah, and then somebody came in and said, you know what guys, the show really sucks. We're going to have to add somebody that, just kind of sweeps the audience off their feet. And Steve Urkel was born.
And to be honest, what is the appeal of Steve Urkel exactly? That he's a nerd and that he causes trouble in somebody's house?
He's got a funny voice.
Right.
One.
Okay.
And he's black.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, the entire...
I don't know.
The only reason I say is because I watched a lot of like sitcoms and everything. So, like for example, let's take one that's had a recent resurgence, which would be Fuller House, right? One of the girls on there is the wacky neighbor from back in the day.
Yeah, Kimmy
and
Gibbler.
She didn't take over the entire Full House thing. The show was, I don't know if they just didn't decide to go with her or whatever, but she was the exact same thing. She had a funny voice, she always made dumb faces, and she would always come over and wreck things.
I think it's because she's not very likable. Steve Urkel has like that pity angle, you know? He's like
he's always trying to get Laura.
Yeah, he's like the nerdy guy, and like he's obviously perfect for Laura, but she doesn't see it, you know.
Spoiler alert.
And you kind of feel bad for him, you know.
Yeah. Thing is that he, I think, and I've watched that season, like that show I watched so many times, but the reason it got to me at some points was that Steve didn't like his family. Whenever they mentioned his family, it was always they're gone somewhere.
Blah, blah, blah. They never.
And the reason he always went over to the Winslow's house, and the reason he always gravitated towards Carl's Winslow is because he didn't feel like he had a real dad. And
you're getting too crazy. I don't know.
No, I know, but trust me. Like if you watch, like obviously the whole thing is wackiness and everything, but in the core of it, Carl becomes his surrogate father.
Well, yeah,
and it's just like it gets really. Like, that show hit some points. You know what I'm saying?
Well, him and Carl are like perfect odd couple.
Right.
You know? First of all, one's fat and the other one's skinny.
Okay.
So you have that contrast there. But then their personalities always clash, you know?
Their personalities, they both are doing good, but just going in an opposite, different, like, they're going in two different directions. Carl obviously protects the city, and he's a very good guy, but he's not very smart, like in terms of books and everything. And Steve is very smart, and he has great intentions, but things always seem to...
Yeah, but he always messes things up.
He always kind of messes things up. But not because he wants to, obviously. You know?
You know what's cool, too? When he got older, he, like, developed a Steve Urkel voice. Because you remember when he was a kid, that was just his voice. He just sounded like a little nerd. But then when he grew up, he had to like create that voice, the voice he uses to voice Sonic.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
like he has to change his voice, you know, because when he on the show when he transforms into Stefan or Kel,
oh god,
via that weird machine that he invents, that's like his normal voice. But then when he's Steve Urkel, he has to put on like this, he like plays it up, and I just think that's cool because it's a really cool voice.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I like that show only because there was those weird, wacky points with Steve. And you're right, Steve eventually took over the show, and it was just really, really about him.
Yeah, I like seeing him jump through windows and blowing stuff up. It's really cool.
He only did the window jump once, and that wasn't him, if you notice.
What are you talking about?
And that motherfucker built a car.
Huh?
Remember he built a car?
No, I don't remember that.
It was a weird car that like opened from the front.
He built that car? He didn't just buy it?
No. Like in the show, he built the car.
Okay.
But that was actually some form. Like I looked up his car, and it's actually a car that was produced. It's a single rider car.
Okay.
That was produced in some foreign country that they never used it here, which is why they could be like, look, Steve built a car.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
But yeah, that show always stood out for me because again, the Urkel character that took over, I never understood what the call of him was, even though I watched all the time, all the time.
He's cool.
But I do understand the whole thing about like one character taking over. It's the reason, like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air worked.
Maybe it was like a '90s thing because Bart Simpson was the same. We slapped his face on all sorts of merchandise in the '90s.
Sure, but Bart had like the classic, like he was bad boy. Everybody wants to be the bad boy. He had a slingshot, skateboard, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly why like a show like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air worked. Like Will was like the bad boy, quote unquote, got sent to Bel-Air where everything's proper. I mean, it sounds like a slam dunk, but that show would not have worked without Will Smith. Like totally would not have worked.
Of course.
Because he just has like that likable personality to him. And see that I understand. Because Will's cool. Like you look at Will from back in the day, you see him, he's being like, "Oh, dude, I'm so street," and yet they're all trying to be all proper.
Yeah, that show's really good. I gotta say that show holds up pretty well, and like that's what I mean by people might compare it to Family Matters and say like, man, Family Matters sucks. Why are you watching that show? You know,
it doesn't suck. It's just your classic sitcom with life lessons and all that stuff. It's just how it is. But I used to always like the fact that in the early episodes of like say Fresh Prince, they always had to point out how different the main character was from the family. So, like, for example, there's this great scene where Jazz, which is Will's best friend, I guess in the show, he comes over to the house. He's like, "Oh, we're just listening to music," and I was like, "Who just sits around and listens to music?"
That's what they did back then.
Well, back then in the 90s,
yeah,
there was already Walkman.
Before you could get porno on your cell phone, people used to just sit around and listen to music.
Well, the family's just like sitting there, like. What was the Bankses? Okay, it was Philip.
Oh, Uncle Phil.
Yeah,
Uncle Phil puts on the record player.
Right.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he puts on the record player. He's like, "We're just listening to classical music. Come and sit down." And he's like, and here come the cellos, and he's all getting into it. And then Jazz all of a sudden starts scratching on it, and I was like, "Oh, you see, this is how they're different."
Yeah,
you know? And it's such a like, I don't know. They're being so like blatant in how they represent these things. Like now. I'd like to think that now TV is getting a little more like subtle. It's not really so blatant.
Not really.
I like to think that at least the shows that I like.
Well, that's the thing too. That's a good thing to discuss. People are always talking shit on The Big Bang Theory. They like people say that show is like cancer, and they're saying like it's worse than 9/11, and I'm just like,
wow.
I'm just kind of like, you know, it's just as shitty as any of those other shows that come on. Like TBS has a bunch of shows like Two Broke Girls, and I caught like 5 minutes of that show, and I was like, this show is trash, dude. Like, no offense to writers or whoever works on that show, but it's just like
it's generic.
Yeah, and like it's just one of those stupid sitcoms that like I don't know. They probably have like 1 million episodes. Those actors probably get paid millions of dollars, but it's just like it's not as clever as like, you know, some other shows out there. And but my point was that like a lot of sitcoms suck. It's like there's a lot of them out there, and the ones you remember are probably the good ones. You know, like Friends or like Cheers, things like that.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's definitely a slew of, I guess, generic sitcoms that would be the same thing as back then. I mean, there's a lot of sitcoms that we didn't even mention that were on in the 90s. I watch Saved by the Bell back in the day, but I can't really watch it now.
I never liked that show.
Yeah, but
that show to me was always about stupid high school bullshit. And like nowadays it's like, oh, the whole cast is on Jimmy Fallon, and I'm just like, that's why I didn't like it.
Maybe you just hate Jimmy Fallon.
No, something about that show, I was just like, this show would be on Jimmy Fallon having a reunion. It's just so, it's about like high school bullshit. Like, I don't know, I don't like that.
Well, like maybe, again, I watched it then, I don't watch it now, but then again, when I watched it then, I believe I was in junior high, and I was going into high school, and I thought, whoa, this is what high school's gonna be like. So cool.
Oh yeah. Boy, were you in for a surprise. It's not like that.
It was definitely not like that, but not because I didn't have a cell phone or wasn't white or anything. That's definitely not it. But yeah, there's like those shows just don't hold up for me. You know, damn. Like, and especially considering they used to be like, TV's changed a lot since then, because now, like we were talking the other day, you know, you just binge watch everything, and there's not really a day for TV. Like back when we were kids, it was like must see Thursday or whatever, and then TGIF was on Fridays. And then, you know, there was just like certain days where you would, we have to stay home and watch, you know, such and such, you know, because this was on. Now I think the only thing close to that is like Sunday, because, you know, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, or whatever. But I remember sitting around and be like, oh, freaking, it's TGIF, everybody shut up, we're going to watch, I don't know, Step by Step. See, and that's another show that had a wacky neighbor who was just dumb.
I don't even remember that show.
You wouldn't. It was such like, no offense to Patrick Duffy or any of that cast, but it's just not really great.
You know, that made me think of Full House. And I remember not liking Full House when I was a little kid. I really used to hate the Olsen twins on that show. I thought they were, like, extremely annoying. Something about them didn't allow me to watch that show, right? And they made that sequel to the... I don't know what the hell you call it. Like, the spin-off, I guess. Fuller House.
Yeah.
Is on Netflix. And that show is complete garbage. And I had to watch both seasons. It was just one of those things that I was like, you know what? I like this. I think I'm going to watch both seasons.
And after you watched it?
I mean, it's just not good. It's really bad.
I mean,
like, a lot of the jokes are not even jokes. A lot of them are just like... There's an episode where Kimmy Gibbler's taking a photo with her cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Oh, wait, hold on a second," and then she, like, flicks on the screen, and she's like, "Oh, I caught a Pokemon!" And that's the joke.
Oh.
And I'm just like, that
They're
wasn't
such
even...
groaners.
I was like, it wasn't even really a joke. It's just like, she referenced it, so we're all supposed to applaud or something.
I mean, I don't even know what the joke is.
I mean, I did. I applauded. I said, "That's great. I love it."
But I'm confused. Okay, so is the joke that she's dumb because she can't operate her phone?
No, it's just a little wink to.
No, like... wait. Hear me out. There's 3 possibilities to this. All right.
Okay, there's way too many possibilities.
Okay,
it's just one. It's a shitty joke.
Because I'm look. I watched the original pretty frequently. So is it because she's dumb and can't operate her phone? Is it that she's a lot older now and apparently it's a joke that older people can't operate their phones?
They're not. I don't think it's even portrayed like that. It kind of seems like.
Well, let me get the last one. Hold on, and then the last one is, oh, what's cool? What are the kids doing these days? Is it Pokemon Go?
Yeah. That's
all right, let's just throw out a reference. Like,
yeah.
Is it as simple as, oh, let's throw out a reference?
That show, I'm not even sure what the target audience is, to be completely honest.
The target audience is me.
How do you haven't even watched it? How would you
know?
No,
but the reason is, okay, you're an executive, and you're like, I gotta make a show next season. I gotta make it as cheaply as possible, and I have to make sure there's an audience for this. What do? I reboot an old series. And so the people who watched the series when they were kids want to watch it now, which would be me.
Well, I guess they didn't have enough budget because the first episode is the only one that has the entire cast in it.
Of course, because the show's not supposed to be about...
The first episode just screaming. Like, people walk in, what's his name? John Stamos walks in and they scream. Audience screams. It's like, oh my god.
Again, that cements the fact that the show was built for
30 minutes of screaming.
Yeah, but that's it. The show is supposed to be for me because that's what there's remember him?
I understand.
Remember him?
Yeah.
And just like,
but what I'm saying is that like in that first season, they make like references to acid. There's like one time where Stephanie says something like, oh, I think I just had an acid flashback or something.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, because remember, they're not kids anymore, and they have to make you, like, I'm sure they reference sex in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. So they have acid flashback reference, right? And then at the same time, they have like this storyline with like her kids, and her kids like they like other kids and stuff. It's like, so it's trying to have something for everyone, I guess. Sure. I don't know, but like. I just don't know who the audience is for that show. Cause
I'm telling you, all of it is really blatant. Because I believe I watched like a preview to it.
Okay.
Because like, actually I just watched a preview today for the new Bill Nye, the Science Guy
I heard he's
TV
an asshole
show.
in real life.
Why do you always say that when I try to talk about Bill Nye? Anyway.
I don't know. I liked Bill Nye back then. I don't know. It's like that, like, Bill Nye is one of those people where, like, it's like that person that loves, quote-unquote, loves Bill Nye is that same person who's, like, has that Facebook page liked, I fucking love science. And, like, they're all into, like, they're just like, oh, man, science is so cool. And
Did you know if you combine this and this, it'll clean your stuff?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, dude.
Okay, gotcha. No, I watched a preview for it, and the entire thing was like, look how these girls are not like girls anymore; they're women, because they all have kids, and they talk about sex, and this is talk about drugs. Huh?
This is Bill Nye.
Yes, this is Bill Nye. How quickly you catch on. No, that's like the thing about Fuller House is it's about these single moms or what. I assume they're all single.
Yeah.
Of course they're single. Of course they're single. Like
you know what's funny? Okay, so what's her name? DJ.
Yeah.
DJ's husband is dead, and it's like
it mirrors her father. It has to.
I just think of this poor guy that's just like, yeah, you have to die because it needs to be like the other one, so you have to die.
And
like he wasn't cast or anything, but I just think that's funny that like anybody who ended up marrying DJ was doomed to die.
Wow.
Well, that's what they make it seem like. Because it has to be
okay.
Like
So I'm just thinking. One of the husbands is dead.
Yeah.
One of them left.
No. Okay. So one of them's dead.
Okay.
And then Kimmy's husband, I think it's just like her baby daddy.
Because they're not married.
No.
So, but he's in the show, or he's not.
Yeah, he's in the show a lot,
okay.
And he really lays on that Spanish accent real thick. And I don't really think that's how he talks, but he really makes it obvious that he is some kind of Spanish. I don't know what he is, but so they have like this thing where they're kind of on and off, and then Stephanie is just like, she's like, I don't know how, she's like 20 something. She's like in that phase of her life where she's like traveling and she's like a musician. Oh, her DJ name is DJ Tanner. That's kind of funny. So it's like DJ. Okay, well, that's kind of funny. That was the only part that I was like...
I know you guys can't see my face, but I'm face palming so hard because it is the stupidest joke.
That was stupid.
It's a stupid joke!
Yeah, but that was honestly like the most clever thing in that entire show.
That's really sad. That's what that is right there. Because if that's the best they can come up with... I mean, the first... Like you were describing the first episode is just... Oh, hey, look. Hey, remember this person? They're not going to be on the show, but do you remember them? Okay, good. I'm surprised the Beach Boys didn't make...
The Beach Boys.
Yeah, like if you watch the original series, the Beach Boys were like would come in at least once time a season.
Really? Well, the New Kids on the Block come out. They made a comeback.
More now. They're like shoving 90s down your throat. I'm surprised they're not drinking Crystal Pepsi and freaking like.
You know what else is funny? Is that they the episode they come out on. They like mention the members by name, and I was like, "Does anyone really know who they're talking about?" I don't think anyone knows New Kids on the Block.
Again, like their target. You know what? Now I'm changing my answer. I don't think the target audience is me. I think the female equivalent
35-year-old women.
35-year-old women who used to watch Full House because now it's all about the ladies.
So me is their target audience. Yes,
because if you remember, it was 3 guys in the house.
Yeah,
and now it's 3 girls in the house. Get it?
Yeah. Very okay. It's great. Well, anyway, it's a terrible show, but I watched all of it, and I gotta say I enjoyed it.
I thought you said it was terrible.
It is terrible, but we just went over this. I like those things.
Well, you didn't make it abundantly clear that you thought the show was terrible, but you still liked it. I thought there was still a little more to it. But still, like in terms of TV shows, I feel like there was. Not that there was better TV, I just feel like there was a lot more standout shows. And since you only had one way to watch them, it was a lot harder to get your... it was a lot more difficult to make everybody watch. Because...
You're saying they had to be better or something?
They had to be better.
And nowadays they can just produce whatever they want and throw it on anything?
Yeah, because you can watch anything on YouTube.
On the internet or something?
Yeah, there's so many different outlets.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, the quality of things has dropped because they're just kind of like... Everyone's a creator nowadays.
Yeah, you can throw anything up on YouTube. You can throw anything up on...
You can make a shitty podcast and throw it up on YouTube, right?
Shut up.
Yeah. No, I know what your point is, yeah. And I mean, I guess that's true to some extent because, people get paid to do it, so it's like... They're gonna make it.
Well, yeah, definitely now. But aside from that, like, I remember you didn't watch it when you were a kid, but the Super Mario Super Show?
No, I watched it on Netflix, though, and it has the same appeal.
See, I don't think it has the same appeal, and it's such a weird... Like, why did they present that show that way? Like, it was a live action, and then it would go into a cartoon.
You know, that show has the... I wouldn't call it a problem, because I like it. But,
Sure.
But it has the same problem as the Zelda cartoon. Whereas, like, physics and gravity don't act the way they should.
No,
You know?
don't,
Like, they kind of just... They
do whatever they want.
Yeah, like weird things happen just so that the animator can easily animate something, you know, rather than...
Yeah, but like if you think about it, right? Both were made by the same company. They were both made by Deke. And
Were they?
yeah,
Right.
but I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But why did Zelda just go into like why was it more of a traditional cartoon and why did Mario had the Super Mario Super Show? Because it was only that show that would come on. It wasn't like oh,
It
here's
was a super show.
yeah, I understand.
So they had to have the live action, they had to have the rapping, they had to have everything. They had the skit, the guest stars, everything.
Oh my god, the guest stars.
Yeah, there's just I think
Oh
I think
my
it's
God.
Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is on an episode, and it's funny because you can totally tell.
Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan?
I think it's Magic Johnson, the one that got AIDS.
That's Magic Johnson. Yeah. Okay.
His part you could totally tell was filmed on like a green screen, and just like placed in after the fact, or like
What do you think, Magic Johnson?
yeah, and his acting is so like phoned in. It's
Well,
just-
listen, he doesn't have the acting chops of a much better basketball player like Shaquille O'Neal, but he tried his
Yeah.
best. Okay.
God,
He couldn't carry a movie like Shaquille O'Neal.
well, age really showed him.
Oh, gee. Really, Steve?
Well,
And Shaq made 2 movies, not just 1, 2.
Kazam
Yeah.
and
Steel.
what the hell is that?
Isn't that him? Where he's like in this body like this body armor suit?
I don't remember that.
No?
All I remember was when I was a little kid, I needed a backpack for school, and I told my mom, you know, if they have Pokemon, get Pokemon. You know, if they don't have that, get like a Mario one. I listed all these things off. I gave her a big list of things to go off of,
Okay.
and she came home, and I vividly remember this moment. Her pulling a backpack out of like a Walmart bag. And it was a Kazam backpack, and I was like, I didn't even know they made these. I don't think the movie was in theaters anymore. It was probably like the cheapest backpack they had. Maybe that's why they got it. But I had never even seen that movie, and I just didn't know how to react. I
mean, how else were you supposed to react when she got you a Kazam one? I mean, I'm guessing it was the cheapest one.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was on clearance right away.
Well, somebody ended up throwing it on the roof, so
Someone.
yeah, someone.
So I just looked it up, and yes, he made a movie called Steel, where like he finds this super metal suit, and he's a superhero in it.
That sounds like something I want to watch.
God damn it, Steve.
You know,
I didn't want to watch. It's probably so bad. Like, do you not remember like Kazam the movie?
I don't. I just
He
totally
tries
didn't
to
watch
rap
it.
in it.
Yeah, I remember that movie looking really weird.
He was
Like it was shot from weird angles and stuff. And
well because remember you're trying to put a 7-foot tall man, like he's 7'1",
yeah, that's true.
with a kid that's like at the most maybe 4 foot tall.
I guess that's true.
You know, and you have to, I'm sure you have to shoot weird angles.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of I remember specifically in that movie there's a lot of
Like-
shots of him like you're seeing it from the perspective of the kid, and he bends over. He's like, "And what do you want?" with his hands on his hips and everything. I'm like, "Oh, jeez, this movie's terrible."
I wonder if
should
that
have-
was honestly their mindset going into it. Like,
Well, you also have to
like
shoot around.
genies are big, right?
Oh, they're
Genies
big.
have to be really big, taller than they have to tower over people. Who towers over people? Shaq.
Shaq does.
I wonder if that was honestly like the thought process.
No, Shaq was like, "I want to make a movie, but I want to make it kid friendly so I can make a lot of money."
Are you sure?
And I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. And he's like, "You know what we could do? We can turn you into a genie, all right, and then you can have magical powers and blah blah blah." And I'm guessing that's as far as they thought it out, because then he also made Shaq Fu, which is that Super Nintendo game. He's like, I want to be in a fighting game," and then he made that. And then he did this Steel movie where he's like, I want to be a superhero. It's all kid friendly. All of it's kid friendly.
And then he made those drinks.
Which drinks?
You don't remember those? Well, those were like 2-3 years ago.
Well,
they were like Shaq sodas. You don't remember those?
Oh jeez, man, that guy just
made
you have lots of money, just live on that money and just stop.
Made from his sweat or something.
The only thing I know for a fact that he's done that's made him money is when he was making those Gold Bond powder commercials.
Okay,
where he does that little shake. I was like, those are good.
You know
those are good commercials.
I was gonna say real fast. When those drinks were in 7-Eleven, those sodas, they had like his shoe on the ground, like as a sticker, like his shoe size.
Yeah.
He has a big ass foot, dude.
Well, he's 7'1", dude.
Yeah, I know.
Do you not understand how tall 7'1" is?
They put this there and they got me. Okay, I was hooked. I was like, wow, that's actually very cool. You know, maybe the soda's not that bad. And I think I tried every single one.
I'm sure it's a soda. And
they were not
great. I'm sure they're better than Shasta. Like, they're probably a little better than Shasta Colas or whatever. But, dude, no, he's just like, the 90s was really just like, let's try everything. Because who knows, right? That's what I feel like Shaq was trying to do.
Did he ever make a rap album?
You know what? I remember hearing that he had made a rap album, but then I hear other people say, no, that was never a thing, don't be ridiculous. But the fact that there is a scene in Kazam where he does rap, and really badly, makes me think that why wouldn't he? If he has money, and when you're that famous and have that much money, you're surrounded by yes people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm sure if he floated the idea, he's like, why don't I just make an album? You know, and everybody's like, dude, you should totally make an album.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go get that right now. Let's go do that right now because you have the money to do it.
Right.
And I don't know if maybe this was a whole thing that, you know, because this was during the time that Shaq and Kobe were, you know, I don't know if this was the thing. Maybe he was just trying to be better than Kobe at things. I don't know. Yeah, because maybe his shoe wasn't doing as good as Kobe's, you know? I don't know. Maybe that was the deal. He was just trying to one-up him.
Well, I don't know anything about basketball. The only reason I know who Shaq is because he was on my backpack for a year.
It could have been worse. You could have had Toon Squad. You could have had a Toon Squad backpack.
That would have been way better. Are you kidding me? I would have loved that.
A backpack that said Toon Squad?
Yeah, I loved that movie. I loved, like, anything that was like Roger Rabbit was amazing to me. I loved seeing that. Like, cartoon characters interacting with real-life people.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I will say that watching that movie, I watched it a lot as a kid. Because I did like that.
Space Jam?
Yeah, I loved Space Jam. It was so dumb. And so, like, yeah, let's just do that. Because you remember, at some point, Bill Murray just shows up.
Yeah.
He does his thing and then leaves. And there's just, like... if you've watched it or you haven't, I'm going to spoil it all for you. But the way that Michael Jordan wins the game is he stretches his arm out like a toon.
Yeah.
That makes no sense in terms of the movie because there's been no indication that he can do...
Yeah, there has. He gets squished into a ball, remember?
I understand that.
So he when he's in that world, he has toon physics.
I understand that he has that, but what I'm saying is that there was no build-up that he could do anything like they could. Like, the Toons are all doing, like, they dress up and, you know, Bugs Bunny at some point is going to make a pass, so he changes into, like, a delivery man, and he says, special delivery, and he throws the ball to him. There's no indication that Michael can do any of that.
Well, they're professionals. He's just starting out. He's going to start with the arm stretch, and then he'll go off from there.
The reason that movie is so forgettable is that Michael doesn't really go through any kind of change. Because he's a pretty positive guy throughout the entire movie. You're
getting a little too crazy.
No, I understand it's a kids' movie, and kids' movies are allowed to be garbage. I get it. It's fine.
Michael goes through no superficial changes throughout the whole film.
Well, see, like, like, any good movie has a change, right? Yeah. But if the guy stays the same, it's boring, right?
He does change physically. He changes his arm's length.
Just saying that to piss me off. But, you know, like I said, I watched that movie tons and tons of times. I remember this kid in school had a Toon Squad, like, jersey.
That's cool.
And that was really, really cool. I remember being like, I want that.
There was, like, I had all sorts of stuff from it, like little toys and plush dolls and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy that movie. Not so much. I can't really enjoy that movie nowadays, only because it's like a meme.
Sure.
You know, like
Sure.
like everyone's played it to death, and they're just like, what do they say in that fucking movie? Come on and slam, and everyone's like, oh, Space Jam, right? Come on and slam. And it's like, all right, well.
Not to mention Lola Bunny started the whole furry movement, so I'm sure that film has that to deal with as well.
You blame Chuck Jones for that.
It wasn't Chuck Jones.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
He created Bugs Bunny. He started furries.
Okay, but he created Bugs Bunny, not Lola Bunny, and I don't understand why Lola Bunny had to be...
I'm pretty sure people thought Bugs was sexy. that little like mound on his chest.
That's what gets the girls going, because you remember the ladies used to like chest hair.
Yeah.
I forgot about that whole thing. Oh, jeez. No, I just remember that I remember watching that movie more for the Bugs Bunny and all that, because at the time there was no like Looney Tunes anymore. There was a resurgence after that. I remember of Bugs Bunny, Six Flags type of clothing, because remember they had that whole like crisscross phase where you could get like Bugs and Taz on your shirt, and they were wearing backwards. You don't remember this?
No.
Maybe we were too young, but there was like this big time.
Well, I think I do know what you're talking about. Okay, no. You're talking about like I remember our sister used to have a Tweety one that had like he had like a backwards hat on or something, and he had like baggy pants.
Yeah, it's exactly this. But like the shirt that was
real official merchandise.
That was real official merchandise, because they had they had done like some sort of cross promotion where they were, if you remember, Crisscross was that those two kids.
I thought that was just like swap meet merchandise.
No. Well, it turned into it because like you could print counterfeits and then with mismatched colors. But that was the whole thing. They actually did a thing, and it was a thing if you got a real shirt of them with baggy clothes on. Like that was the whole thing. Is there was all these clothes that were Looney Tune themed, but they were like, but we're 90s now.
Yeah,
so
but
they had
like
sunglasses
gangsters.
And they had like
Joints.
backwards hats and they had rings on. Like and I think Taz had like the big one because he was already kind of whatever. But
why was Taz everywhere?
I don't know, because like you don't even really see him in the movie.
Yeah.
And he didn't really have a cartoon series to his
name.
He
was a big part of the film, I think.
He doesn't even speak and tell it. He doesn't even speak correctly.
Yeah.
For some reason, it was Bugs and Taz, not Bugs and Daffy, who were usually the duo, but it was Bugs and Taz. I never understood that.
They had Taz on everything. He was on shirts. He was on mugs. He was on mats, like car mats in your like, car.
Was it Back Off or something? No, that wasn't it.
That was Yosemite Sam.
That was Yosemite Sam. The other one, I forget what the other one was. But you're right. There was a huge research. Like there was a huge surge of Taz. And I never got the call of that character, Taz. What is he? He's a Tasmanian devil.
It's fucking crazy, man. They don't want to
so
mess with
stupid.
him.
So stupid, but for some reason everybody wanted that T-shirt, and I think I got mine from the swap meet for sure. 2 sizes too big, obviously, because that's how you wear that shirt.
Swap meet was the first place you get the official Calvin Peeing T-shirt.
Calvin what?
Official. It was exclusive to the swap meet.
Calvin Keen.
No, Calvin Peeing. You remember that?
Oh, Calvin, as in the cartoon.
As in Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
You know, he's peeing.
Oh my gosh.
And people would put other stickers underneath it, like he's peeing on the competitors or something.
Oh, the swap meet. Oh, the goddamn swap meet. You could find anything there.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Socks, mostly.
No, that's just the ones we would come into first. But yeah, you're right. They always had the vinyls of everything. I think that's when... Swap meets, I swear, are the first place to start that whole, put my family on the back of my car thing.
Yeah.
Like the 2 people, and then mom, dad, grandma, grandpa.
And then Calvin peeing on the whole family.
Calvin peeing on the Ford logo, or a Calvin peeing on the
family.
On the Calvin peeing on the family. Okay, yeah, like they like golden showers. Oh, but yeah.
You know, I think I'm pretty sure that really pissed off Bill Watterson. That's his name, right? The guy that made.
But no, I don't think it did. Actually,
I think that's honestly why there's no merchandise for Calvin and Hobbes.
He never wanted his stuff merchandised. That's why he never signed. Like, there were so many deals for him to do that, and he never did any of it.
I think that was why. Was because he was mad at, like...
Just the vinyls.
Is that what they're called? You're talking about those stickers they put on cars?
Yeah. Well, I think they're called vinyls, or whatever, but whatever they're called. No, I don't think it's just that. I think he was a guy that had... because he worked in the marketing, He worked for marketing.
He was like an ad
So he knew
person.
he knew the extent of what could be done with a cartoon character once you sign off your rights to it and have it merchandised. Because the opposite of the opposite of him is like Charles Schultz, who had his character signed off, and they did movies, they did cartoons, they did theme parks. He was Knott's Berry Farm. But he also did where Snoopy was the mascot for MetLife, which was an insurance company, health insurance company, I believe.
By the way, they have a very good motto, or slogan, that's what it's called, right?
MetLife?
Yeah.
What is it?
For the if in life, and because IF is in the word life. I just think that's very clever. Whoever created that,
it's good times.
Whoever came up with that promotion, all the way to the top, CEO.
So I mean, I think that's what the Calvin Hobbes creator wanted to kind of avoid. He didn't want his character to be all over the place because, to be honest, I'm sure Charles Schultz didn't have final say on every single thing that they did with characters. So when you do that, you lose a lot of control of your character. And I'm sure he was just doing this thing, made him some money, but if you've ever read Calvin and Hobbes, it's much deeper than anything else. Like, I used to love Garfield.
We used to read those all the time, and I used to just skip the ones that had big words. Because there was a lot where it was just
that was the first place.
Actually, Hobbes, capitalism, something, and I would just skip those. I would look at the ones with the funny drawings. There was one where he put Crisco in his hair, and he made like his hair all pointy. It was for picture day, and I thought that one was funny because it didn't have any kind of weird political,
undertones.
Yeah.
I remember that was the first place that I read the word atheist.
Oh, really?
And I didn't know what that was.
It would be a Calvin and Hobbes comic.
But yeah, it was kind of a trip. We grew up in a Christian house, and so I was like, what the hell is an atheist? Never knew what that was until I was like, I want to say 15. So I knew that word when I was like 6 or 7. That's weird. Weird to know that word as a kid. But yeah.
Well, all right. I guess we can just cut it here. I understand that one was a little rough. Maybe next time we'll have some questions and stuff and comments from you guys. But let me know what you thought. It's just basically an hour of bullshit, And then you put it on in the background while you go do something creative, or I don't know. You guys are intelligent. Just do something while this is on. And I don't know. Final thoughts?
No, I don't know. Well, this is at least on my end. It's a lot of fun to just sit here and shoot the shit with you. So that's kind of fun. So I hope people enjoy it because it's fun, pretty fun to do.
All right. Well, we'll be back. I don't know how we're gonna schedule these either. Maybe we'll have a certain day where they go up. Maybe they'll be weekly, or I would say we do them weekly because it's not
weekly is a good schedule.
Not
for
too
now.
Stressful to do. So whatever, we'll try it out. But thanks for listening.